2021 games, I played some of them. Some of the games I played weren't even released in 2021, but you know what? I don't care. Well, I could make a best games of 2021 list. I feel that doesn't really encompass what I played this year. So instead, what I'm going to do is make a list of my favorite games that I played this year, regardless of if they came out this year or not. A few ground rules and notices before we begin. It has to be a first playthrough of a game. Games that I chose to replay can't count towards this list. Also, I need to have reached the credits of said game. Games I chose to quit out don't count either. Unfortunately, this means I can't rank Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, but just know that I really enjoyed that game too. This also means that games I'm continually competitively playing like Rivals of Ether don't count. One final thing, if you know me, I tend to only play Switch and PC games, so you'll see abundance of those on this list. By the way, I play a lot of these games on stream. You can go find me live every day at twitch.tv/KhepriProd, so go check that out. Also, be sure to subscribe to this channel where I upload VODs from those streams, so if you want to enjoy that content, you can do that. With that out of the way, let's get things started. We need to talk about the effect that having a character join Smash Bros. Has. For me, both Joker and Sora joining Smash got me to play their respective games, and I think that's a completely valid thing to do. While some people, looking at you, Persona Twitter, gatekeep people joining the fandom because they played the game after their protags joined Smash, I don't think that's a valid reason to gatekeep. Isn't the whole point of Smash to introduce players to new franchises? Ness did it in 64, and Marth and Roy did it in Melee, so why are Joker and Sora any different? Anyway, tangent over. Time to actually talk about the game. It's okay, I'm not really a huge Disney nerd, so the whole travel to different Disney worlds, that's the main point of the game, wasn't a huge draw for me. Furthermore, I wasn't super attached to the story and its characters. The gameplay was alright. I thought it'd just be mindless keyblade swinging, but a lot of the boss battles kept me on my toes and required me to strategize. But my favorite part of this game was the humor I made from it. Just having Donald and Goofy around as main characters allowed me to make fun of them, especially as I got towards the end of the game and they were put in serious situations they really shouldn't be in. Sora was also a really entertaining protagonist too, but only for how cheesy his lines in this game are. So while this game really isn't the best, the humor I made from it gave me the motivation to continue the series into 2022. I had played Super Mario 3D World before, so when ranking this game I wanted to look at Bowser's Fury on its own merits, and it's a lot of fun. It takes the aspects of 3D World and puts them in a large open world that's fun to explore and collect the different cat shines. There really isn't much to say about it, it's just that pure Mario goodness I love. However, it seems more like a demo for what's to come for 3D Mario. Its length was really short to me, and I could see why it had to be packaged in with 3D World to sell. However, it was a way to finally bridge the gap between 2D Get to the End Mario and 3D Collectathon Mario that 3D Land and 3D World never managed to do for me. So it's exciting to see where 3D Mario goes from here now that Nintendo has figured out how to bridge the gap. I like to think I'm a big Nintendo nerd. I play a lot of Nintendo games, but I tend to stick to the main ones like Mario, Zelda, and Splatoon. I occasionally branch out and find a game I really enjoy like Xenoblade, but for the longest time I've never tried out Metroid. But there's one deciding factor that made me change that, and that was a little indie game called Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight's world building and storytelling dragged me in, and I knew it was partly inspired by Metroid, so when I saw a new 2D Metroid I announced, I thought, hey, might as well try it, and so I did, and it was okay. Very good, but not as good as Hollow Knight. I'm not a huge fan of getting lost, and so I used a guide for both Hollow Knight and Metroid Dread because I just don't like getting lost. The combat was also a tad boring to me, but that's because I compared Metroid's gameplay to Hollow Knight, and I just prefer the latter. That being said, I really enjoyed the atmosphere of Metroid Dread, being alone in a world full of hostile creatures and having to traverse it. The enemies were super cool too, to the point where I was actually terrified of them. They made me come up with strategies to avoid them, and it was fun to juke them out. I also really enjoyed Samus in this game. Despite her not talking much, all the cutscenes were entertaining. My favorite moments would be during the boss fights, when you could counter the boss and enter a sort of cutscene where you could just spam missiles. It was very entertaining to watch Samus just fucking wail on an alien. So yeah, all in all, Metroid was a very entertaining game to play, despite my issues with the Metroidvania genre as a whole. I'm bundling in 999 and Virtue's Last Reward together because they're really experienced as one straightforward adventure and not standalone games. And yeah, these are really cool. The main drawing point to these games are, of course, the plot. Being a visual novel, the plot has to be really good, and it is, albeit very confusing. But while it's confusing, the sheer mindfuckery that comes from these games is fucking wild. Virtue's Last Reward in particular left me fucking baffled. As for the gameplay, it's a visual novel. There's not much to be said about it. I did enjoy the puzzle segments and how they were formatted as escape rooms. I also really enjoyed the branching paths, and in Virtue's Last Reward case, how you had to constantly jump from timeline to timeline. However, one complaint that I do have is that for a death game, the supporting cast could be a lot stronger, especially in 999. While I do like the main duo in both games, Akane and Junpei in 999 and Sigma and Phi in VLR, as well as some of the supporting cast, especially Clover, some of the other characters really didn't do it for me, such as Lotus, Seven, and Quark. And in a death game like this, especially one that out of the gate I was comparing to the wackier cast of something like Danganronpa, it really didn't hit it for me. That being said, the plot of the game was entertaining, and I enjoyed having my brain melted to mush by the end of the collection. This game went totally under my radar when it came out. It seemed like just another random Switch game, and I never really paid it much attention. However, after multiple friends introduced me to it, I wanted to check it out, and I really enjoyed my time with it. There isn't really anything I can complain about. The combat is fun and in-depth, the story is fucking incredible, the characters were well thought out, and I especially enjoyed the character customization in the game. However, the reason it's so low down on this list is because while I did enjoy the game a lot, I didn't get quite as attached as I do with other games. It was an enjoyable experience, but it didn't draw me in like others games do. I guess it was just a me thing, but yeah, it is incredibly good. It feels like a crime to put this game this high up on the list. Let's get the bad stuff out of the way. This is just Ultimate Talent Development Plan, but again, the gameplay is incredibly boring. It's a fucking gacha game that you have to grind a certain level to get good cards. And the fucking board game is bare bones, but you know what? I don't care. Despite the flaws this game has, I really enjoyed it because of all the character interactions. I got to see my fucking children again, having fun and enjoying life. And it was amazing to see them again and see their interactions. The fucking shipping fuel was amazing too. I'm still not over the interaction between Makoto and Junko. So yeah, while the game itself isn't very good, it was entertaining to see the cast of Danganronpa again when I thought they'd never return. When this game first was announced, I was so fucking excited for it, which is why the year between it coming out in Japan and America felt agonizing for me. But now that it's finally out, I can give my thoughts on it. Essentially, the plot is Persona 5, but it happens again, and also there's computers. And you know what? That's fine. I really enjoyed the Warriors style gameplay, more so than any other Warriors game. The fact that you could stop time to cast spells as well as do normal hack and slash gameplay was fun. I also enjoyed the locales they chose for the new dungeons. The new characters in Kichi and Sophia were also entertaining too. However, like with the previous entry on this list, the main draw for this game was just seeing the Phantom Thieves interact again. Yeah, there were a lot of those fan servicey scenes which I disliked, but other than those, it was just fun to see the cast of Persona 5 going on another adventure together and their bonds. So after trudging through the entire Zero Escape series, I thought, what next? And looking at Steam, I saw that the creator of Zero Escape had made another game, a standalone game called AI The Somnium Files. So I thought, why not get my mind fucked with even more? I purchased the game on Steam and proceeded to have more fun with it than I did Zero Escape. I like the time management based puzzles a lot more than the ones in Zero Escape. The idea of a classic murder mystery drew me in, and I enjoyed piecing together the mystery the more I played, to the point where I was making full maps of my theory of the events across each alternate timeline. And of course, the cast was very interesting. While I voice a bit of disdain for him, I do like Date as the protagonist a lot, but the main star here is Aiba. She's a fucking hilarious character, and the dialogue that came from her were the best parts of the game. Of course, the supporting cast such as Iris, Moma, and Mizuki were cool too. And of course, the fucking ending somehow managed to make me both cry and laugh my ass off at the same time. All in all, a great game that really went under the radar of most people, but I'm glad I played. Does this count towards this sort of list? I mean, I played Chapter 1 when it came out, and the game is technically still incomplete. Well, whatever, it's my list, so I'm breaking the rules. So yeah, 3 years after Deltarune Chapter 1 came out, most people, myself included, had totally forgotten about it. It really didn't have that same place in my heart as Undertale had. The magic just wasn't there as much as Undertale. As such, I remembered Undertale and forgot about Deltarune. That all changed with Chapter 2. This fucking chapter blew me away. The strongest point is of course the music. Toby Fox always delivers on his soundtracks, and this one was no different. However, unlike with Chapter 1, what really drew me into this chapter were the characters. This chapter as a whole was just so much more entertaining than Chapter 1. Between Birdly, Queen, and Spamton, I was laughing my ass off the whole time. Of course, the chapter also had deep and emotional moments. The scene on the Ferris wheel between Susie and Noelle fucked my heart. The fucking parallels between Spamton and Chris, and of course the Snowgrave route, and how it's even more of an emotional gut punch than Genocide was in Undertale. With Chapter 2, Toby Fox came out swinging and just showed the potential this game has, because just think, there's 5 more chapters after this, and I'll wait 3 more years for it. What else? If you know me, you know that the original The World Ends With You is my favorite video game of all time. So imagine little old me learning that not only would we be getting an anime, but a full-on sequel 14 years after the original. I was so fucking hyped. And Neo fucking delivered. It is the perfect sequel. It followed up on the original so well. The style and music from the original are still there, back and better than ever. The fucking bangers that this game has, like, listen. The story is fucking incredible too, and of course, like the original, gives a lesson in life. But of course, the best part of the game are the characters. The new characters it introduced were fucking great. The Wicked Twisters were wholesome and fun to watch interact. Rindo especially was amazing to watch grow over the course of the game. I enjoyed the side characters as well, like Susu, Peachy, and Cannon. But even better than that was the fucking fan service they gave with the returning cast. The developers knew what they had to do with this game. They knew what the fans wanted, and they fucking gave it to us. Big spoilers ahead. please, if you do anything, play this series. It's fucking amazing. But I want to talk about this one scene in particular, and it's at the very end of the game. But I implore you, if you haven't played these games, pause the video right now, go play them, and then come back. Are you gone? Okay. The fucking reunion scene between Neku and Shiki. Holy shit. They crafted this shit perfectly. Shiki standing in front of Hachiko holding Mr. Mew, fulfilling the promise they made back in week 1 of the original game. The way Neku fucking shows up and Shiki's fucking reaction, the shot of them standing facing each other, the emotion and bond between them, and to cap it off, they recreate the shot from the original game's credits, but this time show Shiki's face. Fucking incredible. This game is the perfect sequel in every way and is my favorite game of 2021 and my second favorite game of all time. Thank you very much for watching. The scripted content isn't the type of content I usually do, so sorry if I sounded robotic a bit. I'll try to get used to it. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe. I upload gaming videos to this channel almost daily, so watch those if you want to. Also, see the description to follow me on Twitter and Twitch, Khepri Prod. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!